Hello my darklings and curious ones, I am the Lady in Black and today we're gonna talk about subculture. So you know that my channel is all about gothic subculture and my path in light through darkness. But before I can actually expand myself in those subjects, let's define what it is subculture so everybody is in the picture. So there are many ways that we can do this. I can go all cliche Oxford English dictionary.
A subculture is a cultural group within a larger culture, often having beliefs or interests at variance with those of the larger culture.
Yeah. Or, I could also read you from Wiki what the article says, though, many things of the article in Wikipedia don't go with my way of thinking or how I actually have experienced a subculture, so I don't use that. And besides, I find it ridiculous that you could be very well doing that by yourself, googling it. The other way that we could do this is actually me being a smarty pants and talking about the philosophical way to approach the subculture, or talk about how sociology, anthropology, psychology, and all those, social sciences, social-based sciences, describe what it is, subculture, and all those things. I'm not gonna do that, besides that it's gonna be very, very boring for you guys. I am a university teacher, so move on. Another way that we could do this is me actually telling you what other people have told me about subculture, like it's a cult, or it's a way of tagging yourself to death. Don't do it. It's free. Or
It's just hormones. You'll grow out of it.
yeah. Now, so what I'll do is that I'm gonna be using my delicious zombie treat in my head, better known as brain, and I will try to describe to you, to my better understanding, what it is subculture. So for starters, a subculture or human tribe is absolutely not the submissive bitch of a culture. It doesn't bend over and base itself on a culture. Although, of course, there are so many variables that we will talk about a little bit later. But no, this is not why is it called a subculture. Just to be clear about that. So a subculture, as is my understanding, is a bunch of weirdos from society that have something in common that makes them different from the normal standard, and that for some reason they gather together like vultures and feast upon the personal preferences. Normally it is towards music or clothing or activities that normally are not society acceptable. In few words, people that like the same type of crap. So some people think that people that are in a subculture are there because they are wanting attention or they feel neglected from society. Oh no, we don't feel neglected from society. What is that? And we don't want attention, at least not that type of attention. Come on. But we do feel misunderstood. That is true. Come on, since I am a kid, I have been hearing, what? Okay. And run, she's possessed! I'll talk about that in story time one of these days. It was hilarious. But, when every single word that comes out of your mind gets a response, And then you find weirdos that when you talk, they don't react that way. All of the contrary, they start to get super excited and start to talk non-stop back and forward about things that you have in common, and then, whoa, you realize that that person actually gets you. And you get that person. I mean, that's pretty special. Well, of course, we want to gather all bunch of weirdos together. You know, it's pretty awesome. You know, you don't get shy about being silly and being judged. You know, you don't do that with that. Those type of weirdos are as silly and shy as you. And you can do a bunch of activities with them, you know, and it's awesome. The best part is that your type of weirdo is everywhere, all over the world. And what is the best way to actually target your type of weirdo? A subculture. That's right. And of course, we want to understand what type of weirdos we are, because, come on, you know, normal standards are basically a bunch of norms or regulations that have been on decades, centuries, and you know, what was even 10 years ago is not the same as it is now. So more and more weirdos are actually coming to the surface, so you kind of have to have a place. But subcultures are not only the type of weirdos like geeks, goths, emos, steampunks, kitty-like stuff. No. You know, rappers, hip-hoppers, hippies, pop. It's also considered a subculture. Yes, sir. And not only because pop means popular, means that it is actually normal. I mean, you have Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, and the guy from Gangnam Style. I mean, that's pretty weird. You have to admit it. So, we're not the only weirdos in the block. Ways of also having a subculture is through sexual preferences. Like, for example, the gay community was considered a subculture. It's still considered a subculture in some countries. In other countries, it's considered even an aberration or even a myth, you know, so it's pretty intense and interesting. And you have fetish scene, same deal. And there's the queers, polyamory, bisexuals, BDSM, all these things, you know, are a subculture, are considered a subculture. Though, depending on where are you in the world, you know, from country to country, it changes. There are some places that a subculture is so normal that has stopped being a subculture. Like example, in Montreal, come on, Sin City. We are in Sin City here. We're talking that fetish is the main base of Montreal. And it's very rare that you actually find someone that doesn't want to talk about their fetishes or fantasies or things like that. I mean, it's still considered a subculture, the fetish community, or the fetish scene, but it's so normal here. So anyway, a very, very interesting fact of subculture, talking about, you know, places and stuff like that, is that people who are from a specific country that travel to another country that has a very different culture from theirs tend to create a new subculture. What am I talking about? For example, you see the Mexicans that have immigrated to the United States and places like that. The specific Mexicans that are in the borders of the United States and Mexico and that, you know, have lived for a while there, have developed this subculture that we know as vatos or cholos. You know, it's basically, you know, those guys that go like mixing English and Spanish and go like, ¿Qué hubo ese? What's up, raza? You know, all those things. That's a subculture, and it's a specific lifestyle that now is very, very common, and it's very popular all over the world. And it's the very, very base stereotype on the movies to make a, you know, the typical Mexican. Another very interesting fact about a subculture is that subcultures tend to create subcultures. I take my Gothic subculture for example. We have many styles that actually are very different, and people that are part of those styles or subcategories are very different one from the other. I mean, cybergoths are nothing like corporate goths or romantic goths or metal goths, or every single style has a different mindset, a different lifestyle, a different type of music, a different type of dressing. Though we all share in common the fact that we are goths. We're part of the Gothic subculture. But I do believe that, cyber goth is a subculture within a subculture, and other styles, of course. And I don't know about other subcultures that are inside of subcultures or subcategories of subcultures. But I know that the mix and match of styles is infinite, and every day some other emerge to create something new and exciting. And that is why we goths insist that a Gothic lifestyle is actually a lifestyle, not a stereotype. And we'll talk about the Gothic phase in another time. Okay guys, so that's all I have to say about subcultures. If you liked my video, please subscribe somewhere below, I don't know where it is, and I will be talking about more interesting topics with you guys. So for now, please comment below and tell me what is your experience with subcultures, and what is your definition of subculture? Are you part of a subculture? And if so, please tell us what it is about. I would really love to read more about your stories and your experiences and have a conversation about it. So, for my dark fellows of the night, embrace your goth. And for all of you, remember, even stars make darkness.